Well, essentially, it is a kind of an election that is, in some sense, trying to, I think, to re-establish the kind of nature of Karnataka elections.
Okay.
Karnataka elections have, for many years, been processes which give a clear verdict.
Okay.
Last time was a bit of a was
Okay.
an upset. Even the 83 elections, we did have an hung assembly, but it was a clear verdict against the Congress at that time.
Okay.
Last time it wasn't so sure. We didn't know what the result was. And I think in some ways this time is an opportunity to get back to the past, to get back to that old pattern.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a result that's very distinct.
Okay.
Because that process of providing a clear verdict is based on a very natural part of Karnataka politics, which is a volatility. People don't, we are not based on cadre-based politics, where people are sort of committed to one party and they
Okay.
will stay with it,
Okay.
leading up to hung
Okay.
assemblies. What you get is a much more volatile voter, and if he sees a certain trend which he thinks will suit him,
Okay.
he'll go along with it.
But why would the voter go with a certain party this time?
I'm not so sure that it's going with a party per se. I think it's going with the party that captures the people that it wants to capture.
Okay.
If a voter, I
But
think
what is the issue now to begin with?
I think it's really a matter of deciding who is your audiences. I think the Congress, for instance, if I can take a party's name, has tried to get all the castes into it, all the social groups into it at some
Okay.
level. Others have not taken that attitude.
Okay.
I think the Janata Dal, for instance, is functioning on the assumption that I think last time over 100 MLAs were new, so there's place for newer people, so it's getting rid of the older leaders and trying to
Okay.
create space for new
Okay.
people. The BJP is functioning on the assumption that if the Lingayats are the strongest group in the state, provide a base from which others can get in.
Okay.
The BSP, again, is functioning on the assumption that once I have a core group of Dalits with me and I can make a deal with other castes.
Are you basing all this on the premise of this recent opinion poll?
Not entirely. I think
Okay.
those kind of surveys that give a broad picture might point out broad trends in voting patterns, but they're not
Okay.
very good at identifying what's happening at the constituency
Okay.
level. If I'm not mistaken, the same opinion poll had predicted very few seats for the
JDS.
JDS in 1996 when they
Okay.
went on, when Mr. Devegowda went on to be Prime Minister.
Okay.
So that I don't think the poll is everything that's that
Okay.
way, but
But
they
what
are
kind of a
indicative.
trend are you seeing now?
Well, as of now, it's the Congress's election to lose, if I can get predictive
Okay.
about it, because simply because they've got various people in, but that strategy has an inbuilt problem within it. If I get people with conflicting interests into the same sort of election, they might all look, it might look very well until the candidates are chosen.
Okay.
But once the candidates are chosen, people who are in the opposing groups would
But
tend
you
to
also believe that
react
this is
strongly.
an election that is candidate driven rather than the party or the ideology?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, also because of the delimitation.
Partly due to the delimitation. The delimitation
Okay.
would help, I think, to get to give a
It would
voice
actually
to
help
smaller
the
groups.
Congress party because, you know, I mean, Congress party would have its number of voters in every constituency, whether it's delimited or not. But whereas the other parties would actually try to associate its leaders or the candidate with the constituency.
One could argue the other way, in fact, that if I
Okay.
have a smaller group,
Okay.
I'm more effective in a smaller constituency.
Okay.
So if I had Uttarali, which had over 10, 11 lakhs voters last time and is now to around, or each of those
Yeah.
constituencies is now around 2.5 lakh voters, I get a much greater chance to make my presence felt if I'm a group of about 40, 50,000.
Okay.
So I would think the smaller parties might in fact have a greater say because of that.
So the candidates would actually have a better say this time because you don't have to actually depend on ideology to get a very large number of voters to be voting for you.
I'm not convinced that the Karnataka voter has voted for an ideology, at least not since the time of Devrajas and Mrs. Gandhi.
Okay.
Since then, it's
So it's
really
mostly
been,
about what?
it's mostly about interests. I think what has happened over the
Okay.
years is that a system of patronage politics has developed.
Okay.
So you wanted to go to the state, and the state was expected to give the groups that supported that party the various
Okay.
benefits from housing to everything else. Over the years, as the system has got larger, more and more people have begun to expect personal benefits as well.
Okay.
So you find not just government policies benefiting, but actually people beginning to pay out directly to get voter support.
Okay.
And you could call it, you might call it commercialization, you might call it corruption, but you could also call it patronage politics.
But it was also believed that the Karnataka voter normally experimented with politics. And that's one of the reasons why you had a different verdict all the time compared to what even
I can
the
tell you
whole
one thing which
country did.
No, I remember long ago I was doing a survey at a village, and we asked somebody. He said he supported a particular person who had at that time shifted parties, I think 5 times.
Okay.
So we asked him why did he support a person who's clearly
Yeah.
a defector, and he said, well, he goes wherever it is good for us.
Oh,
And
okay.
that is the kind of logic that I think we don't always recognize. I think people there see somebody as representing their interests, and he will choose a party depending upon what he can
So the
get from
party
it.
doesn't become so important in an election
I
like
don't think the
this.
party has been important for quite some
Then
time.
still we are talking about one group of individuals belonging to a certain party getting elected.
Right. So far, it's largely a matter. There was the Congress. The
Okay.
Congress used the land reforms in a way that I think built a very strong anti-Congress constituency
Okay.
over the years. So now it's a question of who put together the anti-Congress vote.
Okay.
So that defines it. If you have it's a question of a coalition builder, which is why if you look at, say, campaigns in Karnataka,
But
you
in
don't
an
get large
election
crowds.
where there is no alliance at all between any parties, apart from some adjustment somewhere, do you think it's a very strange election?
See,
Because every
alliance,
party is going on its own.
yeah, that's because any alliance, if I'm going to go by candidates, any alliance works only if I can transfer my votes.
Okay.
If I can't do that, if the candidate is getting his votes and coming to me, then an alliance is meaningless. It gives me no benefit.
Okay. And people actually don't have trust in such alliances also.
Yes, and
Because
it
of the
doesn't,
kind of experience they've had before.
absolutely. But I think if the loyalty is to the candidate,
Because would there be a post-poll alliance between parties?
there could be, but not
Okay.
if there is a kind of a clear verdict. Obviously, there won't be.
Okay.
But and I won't rule that out. To tell you the truth, I'm not really so sure that money is the problem
Okay.
with this election. The real problem, in some sense, is the fact that that candidates are being are really choosing to come. It's almost a non-party election.
Yeah,
Because
because it's
candidates are
more
just
about,
coming
you know,
in.
I mean,
The
or
influence. So let's be fair. It's influence. Whether I use muscle power to get that influence, or whether I use patronage to get that influence, or
Okay.
whether I use pure ability to convince them, it's a different thing. But I think we need to be fairer to politicians. They do spend time trying to develop that influence, and those that develop it later on are willing to go to any party that will recognize what they have got. You know, we tend to underestimate what politics has done for us.
Okay.
One of the greatest strengths, one of the greatest successes for India over the last 60 years has been its democracy.
Okay.
And yet that's one of the few
and,
things we
and
celebrate.
democracy being alive and kicking.
And
becoming stronger
and
by
that
the
has
day.
happened because of our politicians.
Yeah, yeah.
And if we keep
SEZs, though they were issues always before elections, they never become issues during elections, right? Why?
Well, globalization is an issue in a large theoretical.
No, even when during Narasimha Rao's times, too, after that perhaps, people talk about these things during peace times and make an issue of them.
Right. I think essentially the policy environment and the political election environment are two different things. The election environment
the
is
issues
patronage.
for every 5 years or 4 years, you need to elect someone.
Share that view. I think politicians have played a critical role at various points of time. They have got fully emerged, sort of immersed in the patronage politics, which is a crisis for the state as a whole. It's a crisis of the political economy of Karnataka as a whole. But the ones who can do it are actually delivering something on the ground. Otherwise, you don't win.
How? Because, you know, the normal or the usual opinion about a politician is that a politician is corrupt, non-performing, inefficient. You're trying to say that all those opinions are wrong?
All those opinions are irrelevant. Let me put it this way. I'm a villager in village X, and somebody belongs to my caste, becomes an MLA, and now I ask him, get me a Janta house, right? If he gets me that house, it is corruption, it's nepotism, it is casteism, it's a lot of things that are wrong. As far as I'm concerned, it's patronage, and he's done his job. So you're built, what we consider corruption is in many senses things that are expected of people. Caste loyalty is expected of people. You're expected to take care of your family. Right? But if you come to Bangalore, that becomes nepotism, that becomes casteism. Right? I am expected to divert resources so that my village benefits.